Good evening, everybody. Let me introduce myself. I am Sujata N, and I am excited to be part of this internship program as an M.Ed student. I'm passionate about exploring innovative teaching methodologies and leveraging technology to make learning more engaging and impactful. And I am looking forward to share my experience and collaborate my learning with you all, expecting your active involvement in upcoming classes. So we are here to learn HCC hardcore subject 07 code number sociology of education. In this there are four sub units. I'm going to introduce you those units. All of you must know that before preparation you should be very thorough with your syllabus. I hope you are following the latest syllabus, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is very important to know your syllabus. Go through each and every content in what each unit talk about. So what are the subtopics there in each unit? There are four units in sociology of education. The first unit talks about meaning and scope of sociology of education. Unit 2, it deals with social structure and education. Unit 3, it deals with social change and education. Unit 4, equality and education. Among these four units, I am going to cover Unit 2, social structure and education. Before we move on to the social structure and education, so we have to know in detail about what is sociology of education, is influencing education, and how education is influencing society, so how they are interconnected. So let's have an introduction about it, what they are. In this introductory part, we are going to cover about sociology of education, introduction, meaning, definition, and we'll start with the unit 2. So any idea what do you mean by sociology? First we go, before we understand sociology of education as a whole, so let me know what do you mean by sociology, what do you understand by the word sociology?
The study of society, ma'am, that is known as the sociology, means social plus logic, means the study of the society.
Yeah, it's a science of social relationship.
Yeah. So you know that human is a social animal and he lives in a society. So how he interact with the people in the society. If we have to go by the word sociology, this has been derived from the combination of the Latin word societies and the Greek word logos. So societies means society. Then logos means it's a science. Sociology means it's a science of society. Any idea who is the father of sociology? Yeah, yes, sir, correct. It is Auguste Comte, father of sociology, who coined the word sociology for the first time in the year 1839. Then, what is education? Then, what is the meaning of education? Because it is dealing with the two words, sociology and education. So, what do you mean by education?
Acquiring knowledge,
Acquiring knowledge, yes.
developing skills, and all.
Skills, behavior, attitude, character. It is a transmission of knowledge and skills and the development of character. How do we get the education?
First, from family,
Family, yes, correct.
school,
School, correct.
institute.
Institutions, education institutions, when we go to higher colleges, universities, yes, correct. What about what we learn from our peers, our friends, our colleagues, or anybody in the society, any people? So everybody we learn from. All this we can divide as a formal education and informal education. So formal education we get in the schools and education institutions. In schools and education, we have a structured format of delivering the content age appropriate, what is required, how and what kind of skills are required for that age. We learn accordingly. We put together now what is sociology of education. So here is one of the definitions I have listed out. All education proceeds by the participation of the individual in the social consciousness of the race. So, this definition is given by John Dewey. So, sociology of education is defined as a study of the relations between education and society. Because educational institutions, schools, what we talk about, is one of the unit in the society. Expectation, what are the expectation? The society has, the education institution have to fulfill that. It is an investigation of the sociological process involved in an educational institution. The sociology of education is a subfield of sociology that examines how educational institutions, practices, and experiences affect individual and society as a whole. So it explores the social context of education, including how factors such as culture, class, race, gender influence educational process and outcomes. The field seeks to understand the relationship between education and various social phenomena such as socialization, inequality, and change. So, all these you are going to learn in further units of sociology of education. How do we interact with the others? That all we learn in the education institution. So, to brief about all this, what is sociology of education? It's a study of relation between education and society, focuses on understanding how the institutions of education functions in relation to other social institutions in society. It studies how the various institutions such as caste, family, structure of society shape the institutions of education, and in turn how they are shaped by the institution of education. So they are interdependent. It is the study of how public institutions and individual experience affect education and its outcomes. So, sociology of education may be explained as the scientific analysis of the social process and social pattern involved in the educational system. In this class, in coming three more classes, we are going to study about Unit 2 in detail. Let me introduce you to the Unit 2. Unit 2 talks about social structure and education. So let us look at what are the subunits we are going to cover in social structure and education. Social structure, we talk about what is the what do you mean by social structure, its components, its types, class, and caste structure in India. Then we talk about social stratification. What does that mean? What is social mobility? What is family? Concept and definitions of family. Educational role of the family. Then we study about community on the education as a social system, as a social process and social progress. Then in the last class, we will have a discussion about what were the questions asked from this particular unit in detail. So I have listed out from 2016 to 2023. 24, I'll just read out the question because that was our paper. I did not solve that. So let's move on with the first subtopic under Unit 2, social structure. What does that mean? And before we go further, let's understand what are the learning objectives from this topic, social structure and education. So, learning objectives are analyzing the impact of social structure on education, exploring the relationship between education and social stratification, define the concepts like social structure, social stratification, and social mobility, explain the role of education in the social structure and social stratification, understand the contribution of education towards the social mobility. So, in this class, we are going to learn about social structure. So, what does that mean? What are the types of social structure? So, let's see. We learn about introduction, we learn about meaning, we learn types and components and elements. So, any idea what is social structure?
Ma'am, a kind of hierarchy thing like that. It's just in an ordered manner.
Pattern, organized pattern.
Yes, correct. Pattern, yes. See, when we talk about the structure, we talk about the different elements. We talk about the structure of the body. We talk about the structure of the building. We talk about the structure of the family, structure of the school or any educational institution. We talk about the structure of the organization. When we talk about the structure of the apartment, we talk about each floors in the apartment, what it contains, its size, its shape, its materials, its requirement, its laws, rules, regulation, everything we talk about. Similarly, when we talk about social structure, it's referred to the organized pattern of relationships and the roles within a society that influence behavior and interaction. So, education plays a pivotal role in shaping and maintaining social structure by transmitting cultural values, norms, and knowledge. For instance, schools act as a microcosms of society, teaching students about hierarchy, cooperation, and social roles. A particular example is the caste system in India, where education has been instrumental in changing the traditional hierarchies and promoting social mobility. So, when we talk about social mobility, you might be knowing, so we are not having the same system as it was earlier. The type of untouchability, the type of hierarchy was highly highlighted earlier. So now we won't find such kind of. That's what we talk about social mobility. Then similarly, we have a gender roles are often reinforced or reshaped through educational practices. And you all know that earlier what we had understood about gender roles in a society. Women means they are born to do household work. Men means we visualize they are the main earnings for the family. So they do the public job, means public work outside the home. This was what the stereotype of opinion we had about the gender role. It has been changed now. Both the work are performed by both the gender. This credit goes to education system. Then highlighting the dynamic interplay between social structure and education. So let us understand its meaning in detail. The word structure, it has been derived from the Latin word structura. That means to build, a fitting together, adjustment, a building, a mode of building, a figuratively arrangement, order in a building. We talk about only structure. But when we have to talk about the structure of the family, structure of the human body, so this differs. I hope the meaning of the structure is clear. It is a fitting together in a particular order, adjustment. We mean that its pattern, its function, its hierarchy, and procedures. Its character, it is interconnected. We talk about togetherness, wholeness, and about maintenance, and there is a boundary for each structure. So, the considering social structure here, social structure refers to the organized patterns of relations and interactions between individuals, groups, and institutions within a society. It encompasses the various ways in which society is structured, including hierarchies, social roles, and institutions. Social structure shapes individual behavior and also is shaped by it, creating a continuous cycle of influence. I hope the meaning is clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if social structure, its meaning is clear, we will move on to types of social structure. So there are four types of social structure. Here, Parsons' Agile model, we call it, where we have a four social structures. We have a four social structure that is adaptation, goal attainment, latency, and integration. What each of them contain. So, what does adoption means? It's a system must cope with the situational exigencies. It is universal goal attainment. So, what is the goal of a society? Do we have a same goals in a society?
They are not at the difference. Different
Changes in
society.
techniques are there.
Yes, differences are there. What are the common goals we have then? Any society it can be. What are the common goals?
Equality.
Yes, equality, behavior of a person, the characters.
Justice.
Yes, correct. So let me brief you about each function. The first functional prerequisite is adaptation, so which involves acquiring and utilizing the resources from the external environment to sustain the system. For example, The economic system relies on resource utilization, production, and distribution within society. So, adaptation is instrumental in nature and focuses on factors external to the system. So, in the context of university as a social system, so adaptation involves acquiring resources in the form of infrastructure. Then coming to the goal attainment, which entails setting goals, motivating system members to achieve those goals, and mobilizing their efforts. In the context of university, as a social system, goal attainment is taken up by the administrative board and the members taking a note of goals has to be attained in each educational institution you take, in a family you take, political term, economic term, we have different goals to achieve. Then coming to the third one is a latency. So renew, maintain cultural patterns, tension management, pattern maintenance. Then we talk about integration, ensured cooperation, system must regulate interrelations. So overall, what it deals with, the change, the involvement, the adoption, the interdependency on each other. It is a one system where it works in an organized way. So this element of society, the socialist Talcott Parsons has introduced this. He produced one of the best known theoretical foundation for studying a society. So this is what we call Parsons Agile model. So if it is clear, we'll move on with the next topic, components. We have a different components here. Let me show you what they are. Three components are there. One is micro, meso, and macro. So what comes in micro components of social structure? Which unit of the society come under micro, meso, and macro?
Micro means small, macro means big.
Yes,
Maybe something like a person or something like that, ma'am. Just each and every person of the society might together constitute the macro set.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know, ma'am. But micro means we'll be considering the smallest
yes,
scale, right? So that will be one individual or maybe one person of the society, just one person or one individual who can contribute.
yes, that is correct. Okay, let me brief you about what these stand for, micro, meso, and macro. As you said, micro is a small system and macro is a large system. In between, we have meso, that is medium system. What are the units of the society fall under each? So in micro, we have a families, as you said, individuals and relationships. What are the types of families?
Joint family,
Yes,
Joint nuclear family, joint family.
nuclear family.
yes.
Nuclear family.
Joint family, nuclear family, yes. And coming to meso, medium system, in this we have organizations, communities, political parties, ethnic groups, few examples to give. Then we have in macro, it's a larger system. Can you give example for macro?
Large number of people living as a
The country
society.
as a whole.
Yes, correct. Can we take an example as a nations?
Yes, sir. Ma'am, yes, I think.
Yeah, we can take nations as an example for largest social system. It's the largest component of the society. Okay. So coming to the elements, these are the elements we come across. That is values, groups and institutions, collectivities, roles and norms. So what does value mean here in this context of social structure?
It's related to culture.
Well related to culture. Okay. Societal values. There are the most general or abstract normative concepts of what the ideal society itself would be like. So, individuals or a group are found to be emotionally committed to values. These values help to integrate personality or a system of interaction. The what each society expect the values. So respecting the elders, good behavior, good attitudes. Then coming to the groups and institutions. So social structure can be viewed in terms of interrelationships of the component parts. social structure includes social groups and institutions. These are called the major groups and institutions. Four of these are, can you tell me what are the groups and institutions we are talking about here?
Family,
Yes, family is correct. So we talk about family, we talk about the school, we talk about the economic institutions. Yes, we talk about the religious.
education,
Sorry, can you repeat?
organization.
Yes, we talk about the organization, we talk about the economic institutions, political institutions, religious institutions. So they all centered upon getting food and other items of wealth, procreation, worship, and ruling. They all are part of society. The community, the total organized life of a locality, is the most inclusive, spontaneous grouping in the social structure. So there are also the enduring phenomena of social class, the ethnic or racial in group, and the temporary grouping of crowd. So these are more or less spontaneous configurations responsive to various interests that develop within the community. Then when we talk about collectivities, so they are specialized collectivities such as families, firms, schools, political parties. So differentiated institutional patterns almost directly imply the existence of collective and role units whose activities have different kinds of functions and significance. So they function as a collective, as a whole. Then roles. So what are the roles we have? Roles of an individual. What are the roles as an individual, as you yourself you take, or any members in the family you take, any member in the society you take? We don't have one role. We have various roles. So can you give me one or two examples of different roles we perform in a society?
Role of as in profession,
Yes,
as a teacher,
as a teacher, as a wife, as a mother, as a grandmother. Similarly, with the other gender, son, husband, father, grandfather, uncle. Coming to the society, we have a different role. When we are in the school, we play a role of a teacher. So within all such collectives, one can distinguish the type of role. Concretely, these are the relevant performances of their individual occupants. Functionally, they are contributions to collective goal attainment. So role occupants are expected to fulfill their obligations to other people who are also role occupants. For example, in a family, the husband too has obligations towards his wife. So then we talk about norms. What are norms?
it's related to laws.
Laws, rules, regulations. Okay, each role what we are performing in the society are governed by social norms. So there are two types of norms. One is obligatory or relational, and another one is permissive or regulative. So some norms specify positive obligations, but they are not commonly applied to all the rules and subgroups. For example, the positive obligations of a family are not the same as those of business firm. We have a different obligation. So some other norms specify the limit of permissible action. A role occupant of a subgroup in this case must do certain things, may do certain things, and must, they are called regulative norms. They do not differentiate between the roles and subgroups. For example, in our society, regardless of one's role, one must not seek to influence others by threat of violence or by violence itself. So that is not accepted. The components of social structure are human beings, the structure being one arrangement of a person in relationship, institutionally defined and regulated. So when we talk about the social structure, we also come across class and caste. So class and caste about we are going to discuss in tomorrow's class. This is what all about introductory class, and we could study about social structure. What is social structure? What are the types of social structure? Then we also studied what are the components. Then we studied about elements of social structure.